my agent called and she's like, "Hi, I'm just calling you with a booking. You booked Star Trek." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" It's so fascinating being a human being and our emotions and the swings, because I went from, oh my gosh, yes, I'm working, to plummeting to, oh my gosh, like what do I do? You know, we start filming in 6 weeks.
Right.
There's the whole prosthetic process. I've never done prosthetics. How much Star Trek can I watch in 6 weeks to just try to understand? And I put so much pressure on myself before we started filming to be like, I have to know the world, I have to know the genre, I have to know this. And even though I can intellectually understand it, I haven't watched enough. And so, yeah, anyway, so then I watched what I could, but then I hit a point of surrender, and I was like, okay, I am going to do the best that I can.
Right. Hey there, welcome back to the DNA podcast. My name is Douglas Nyback. I'm the host of this thing, and today our guest is none other than Sara Mitich. Sara is one of the stars of Star Trek Discovery, which is where she is probably best known from an acting career standpoint, and what a great place to be known. I've known Sara for a long time. I've known her for over 10 years, and she has always been one of the most talented actors that I know. She is profoundly willing to get into the dark and twisty and the nitty-gritty and the extremely rich characters. These things light her up so much. She's one of the most open and willing actors that I have ever worked with. And she's an incredible teacher, and she's an incredible actor, and she's an incredible human being on this planet. She also is the founder of and creator of Gratitude and Growth, which is a really interesting side of her life that we also get into this podcast, where she's created this online space and podcast and programs that are about how to implement gratitude and meditation and energetic, emotional, intellectual, and physical wellness into your life. And her stuff is so fascinating in that world. She's so educated and she's so hyper articulate. So we get into all things Star Trek and all things acting, and we also dabble in all that cool stuff and what it is to be an entrepreneur online, which I feel like we barely got started. Anyway, this is a very cool conversation. If you're not subscribed to this podcast, please click on the little subscribe button. If you're here on YouTube, like, comment, let us know that you're there, that you're digging what we're putting out there. Really, really means a lot to us. And if you're on Spotify or you're on Apple, give us a little 5-star rating. Those things go a really long way. Podcast is growing. We're really proud of it. We're really grateful for you. So thank you for being here. Let's get on into it. Hi. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So for like the audience, like Sara and we've known each other for a long time.
So I was trying to think about how long, and I'm not entirely sure.
It's probably close to like 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
It's been,
Yeah, well over 10.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since I've seen you in person.
I know.
So this is a real treat for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I want to say, listen, I've always highly respected you as an actor and as a person, but I gotta say, because I've known you since like relatively early into my coaching days, and there were times when I started working with you, I was just like, this girl is so much better at acting than I am.
No, stop.
And I'm like, how can I coach somebody who's like much better than me at this? And I'm like, I think so. But it was a really phenomenal, I've just been so impressed by your work from like the moment I met you. And you've obviously had a ton of success, but like, yeah, it was like a source of like a really wonderful ego like realization for me, where it's like, oh, I don't have to be better than somebody to coach them, because I was like,
oh my gosh.
It's like, I would imagine what people, I don't know, if you're just like a day player on a Leonardo DiCaprio movie, you're just like, I think he's just a lot better at this than I am.
No, okay, so it's so fascinating you say that, because there's something I've never told you.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
We're getting into it.
So yeah, we're just gonna start and just go deep. Here we go. Mm-hmm. As you know, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but gratitude is my way of life. Mm-hmm. It is like a fundamental part of my being, but it's just a practice that I do every day. And there's one gratitude exercise that I was introduced to that is extremely profound. And it's you go through and choose a couple people who have ever said or done something to you that has either changed the trajectory of your life or has picked you up in a very dark moment.
Oh, okay.
And you, and something you said probably like 10 years ago, has been something that has pulled me through some of the darkest actor days. And that was, we were in the break room of the old studio
Yeah.
that we were both at. And this was during our call-in time
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
We were training together, and I was having a low day. And we were talking, and you said to me, you were like, Sarah, by the way, just so you know, I think you can like really do this. Like, I actually think like you can make this, like you can go all the way. You can do the Oscars. You can do everything. Like, I see this in you.
Right.
And I've never told you this, but every time I do that practice, you are one of 3.
Oh my gosh.
And so the practice is you say to the person out loud, like just to yourself, everything that moment did for you. And I'm kind of doing that now in person, and that feels super special. But it's like, it's one of those moments where it's so easy to think you're not doing it and you're never going to do it. And you've always been that voice, no matter where our paths have gone throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's like every time I coach with you, you remind me that I'm a good actor.
Right.
Even on the days where I'm like, Doug, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
But it's that moment, and it was early on in my career. It was before any of my big stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting there being like, just in the shit of it.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't even tell you that. But I don't know if you picked up on it or what, but it's like, so I'm just so grateful I get to share this with you today on your podcast.
Oh, wow.
Because that's you too. You've always been that support. And I think what you're doing with this podcast is awesome.
Cool.
And just, yeah.
That means a lot. It's funny. That got me like emotional there. I have this I feel like I'm often deeply afraid of all of the things that I've said to people that have maybe been thoughtless, because like one thing, the longer I coach, the more I realize like, oh, people carry things with them, and I hyperfixate on the negative. I'm like, oh, who did I fuck up and what have I done? And I forget that like I've probably had a positive impact. And that's one, I'm just really glad, and 2, still completely believe that.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is, our mind loves to fixate on all the bad things, which is like in this industry, you know, you can nail an audition and then you watch the tape back. And for me, the silliest things, it's always physical. I'm like, the hair was in my face. Mm-hmm. I've literally sent 2 takes of scenes to my team.
Yeah.
Being like, I really like this one, but I know the hair is distracting, so I'm sending this one too. And they're like, we don't even notice the hair. Yeah.
I used to really hyperfixate on that stuff, because that's also like kind of how I was taught to teach. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think that stuff is like genuinely important, but it's also, I think, one, becoming less and less important because the economy of performance is, I think, becoming more and more of an authenticity economy.
Yeah.
And it's like, so long as you're still translating well, and like beauty and aesthetic, like that is a part of our industry. But it's like the things that we think make us translate in a way that's not beautiful are usually not rational.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's where all the neuroses come from.
For sure, yeah. And when it comes to like teams, they're usually like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like, you say that, but like my soul doesn't believe that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 100%.
So I like in getting ready for this podcast, I was like, where do we start? Because you have 2 very different branches of your life that you're like exploring right now, like not dissimilar to me, in that you're a very successful actor whom, you know, I do want to talk a little bit about like your Star Trek times and all of that stuff, because that was such a huge part of like your career. And also your gratitude and growth like world, which I feel as though I have like my acting career, and I also have like the things that I'm doing and building with DNA. And so I feel a sense of like kindred spirit with you.
Entrepreneurship, baby.
Yeah. And like in that, you know, like in that. And so I guess my question is like, where would you like to start? Like, what would you like to talk about first?
Let's talk about Trek.
Cool.
Let's just dive into
and like
Trek.
And like acting in general. Like Trek will be a part of that. But
acting in general.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, like, I like knew you obviously when like that started, but it, like, correct me if I'm wrong, it began as one thing and then grew quite a bit. So, and you like, didn't you play 2 separate characters?
I did.
That was like my research this morning. I was like, wait, She played Ginzburg Gardens on the show?
Yeah.
Which also happened to be on a sci-fi show, albeit
Yes.
a less successful one. But
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I started as Arium, which was full prosthetic, which I know you've done as well.
Yeah, my first guy in Defiance.
Yeah.
And then my second guy was human.
Yes. So same thing.
Look at us.
I know, just like taking over the sci-fi world with all the roles. But yeah, I started as Arium in season 1. And, you know, the bridge characters on Discovery were different, right? We weren't the leads.
Right.
We weren't the primaries. We were the secondary characters, which was different than most of the other treks and how they were done.
Yeah, it was like ensemble casts.
Yeah, and so I don't think any of us really knew what to expect. At least I didn't. Right? Like, I didn't know what this character would be. I was super pumped about the prosthetics because I love, as an actor, I love transforming myself. I love pushing myself to be like, how dark can I go? How light can I go? How, like, can I stretch myself to the parts of human behavior that I don't get to experience, right? And this, for me, was taking it to a whole new level of not just learning the prosthetic and going through that, but learning how to act through it.
Yes,
with it.
I remember that learning curve as well.
And, you know, at this point, I started as a theater actor.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought I would do Stratford and Shaw. I never saw film and TV.
Right, because you began in ballet, right?
I began in ballet.
Right.
And then I did theater. And then I took a 6-week film, intro to film in 4th year of my UTM in Sheridan program.
Right.
And I fell in love with it, but like totally different muscle set.
Yeah.
And so, but film and TV took off first. But with the prosthetic, it like took me back to mask class, right?
Yeah.
And
but it's a weird hybrid of mask and skin. Like, it's not an apples to apples comparison. Like, it's not about just physical performances. For me anyway, I found it was about like learning how to manipulate the prosthetic in a way that translates as though it's skin. Yes. Which is a very different.
Totally. And on top of it, for me, I don't know if you had it, but I had full eye contact lenses.
Yes, me too.
I had never worn contacts before.
Yeah, you barely see shit.
And yeah, no periffs, no nothing. And I'm so blessed to have worked alongside Doug Jones, who is like the king of prosthetics. And he told me one day, I was talking to him about it, because the physical life of the character, she was an augmented human at the end of the day. And so it was cool because my dance training came in. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, her core is gonna be very, 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 you know, engaged, straight in the way we move. It's not like, you know, it's not like C-3PO.
No.
And it's like, but it's not human, it's not fluid.
Right.
And so it was cool to build a character from scratch like that and make all those decisions. Yeah. But I was talking to Doug Jones about it, and he was the one that told me, he's like, you're not trying to act through it, you're trying to act with it.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that is the little shift in the brain. And I'm like, I'm trying to act with it, but I'm also like acting through these contact lenses, which, you know, when you're just normal faced, it's all about this, right? Yeah. And like a blink is a choice sometimes, you know? And whether I look at you or whether I look at your ear, that's a whole moment in storytelling. So I was like, how am I supposed to, like, what am I supposed to do with these massive eyeballs now too? And like, you can't read my pupils. You can't read it. And so.
And there is there's like a soul shift that happens in the eyes. It's why the close-up is that's where the money is in film and television. It's because like we can tell our thoughts are changing somehow, even though the eyes don't technically change. And I got caught up in the like, do the context block that? And it was interesting because for me, I found that like weirdly enough, it didn't. Yeah. Which is strange.
It was this, because I look at my body as my instrument. Yeah. Right? As an actor, it's like I have spent years learning how my own instrument just works, and then learning how to manipulate it to produce something that's required of me. Yeah. Because to me, that's just part of the job description, right? And it's like there is authenticity there, but if the script is calling for something, that's what they're hiring you to do. Yes. And so it was like this new instrument to learn suddenly, and it happened very fast. Like the booking this job and going through everything. I mean, I think it all happened within 5 weeks.
Was it an extensive callback period?
No, there was no callback.
What? So you wound up as a reg on the show eventually, right? And you did it without a callback.
So
that's wild.
This audition, I went in, you know, it was like the whatever the code name was for the show.
Tennessee Honey?
I know. I think at first it was Rain Dance or something. And then maybe it became Tennessee Honey. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I remember like, it's so funny, the secrecy around these things. I'm like, are they worried that like people are going to discover Klingons are a part of Star Trek? It's like, this is a 30-year-old franchise. Space stuff's going to happen.
Yeah. But they were, especially that first season. It was like
was also like deeply soaked in J.J. Abrams at that point, and J.J. is like Johnny McSecrets. So
touche. Yeah. But no, I went in for that audition. It was like 2 pages, full bridge crew technobabble.
Right.
And I went in, and this is back when auditions were in person. Miss those days. Yeah. And I did it one way, and then the casting director was like, "Okay, do it like this, completely different."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, do it like this." You know, do it like you're super calm and confident and everything's under your control. Do it like you're about to die. Do it like you don't care. Do it like you're in love and trying to save somebody. I think I did the audition like almost 10 times.
Right. Well, because they would have been sides written for the audition. Yeah. Like it's just a test.
Yeah. They're not, they weren't from the script.
Yeah.
And so all I knew of it was my slate was, yes, I'm okay with prosthetics. Yes, I'm okay with contact lenses. Yes, I'm okay with all this. And it was 2 pages of technobabble, and that was it. And that was one of the few auditions that I left. And I usually have a really good gauge of my work. I just do. I know how I translate. I know how to execute. And I left that one being like, no clue.
Right.
No clue. Like, I was like, was I just not getting it? Were they stretching me? Like, I never experienced an audition like that in my life.
Right. It's an interesting thing because it's like, it's just a test of range that's removed from story. Like the metric of success that I would have for an audition is like, did I or did I not do the thing? And at this stage, I know that if I did the thing, I probably did a good job of it because I'm not bad at acting. Yeah. Like, but if I don't know what the thing is, that's a whole different world. Yeah. Like there's no frame of reference.
Exactly.
For success or failure.
Yeah. And so I just left and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. It was fun.
Right.
You know? And I didn't think anything of it. Like most of my bookings, it's like the auditions I leave that I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? And the ones you hold on to that you want so badly. The ones that don't. But yeah, and then I was driving here in Toronto on the Gardiner one day, and my agent called, and she was like, "Hi, I'm just calling you with a booking. You booked Star Trek." And I was like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, yeah, you booked Star Trek. These are the deal points, da-da-da-da-da. And I'll never forget this moment of like driving on the Gardiner, driving east. It's like the new buildings that are really close to the Gardiner. The condos just went up. And I was like, oh. And I remember my first thought when she hung up was like, I didn't grow up a Trekkie.
Right.
And this was a world, and I understood how big of a world it was. I thought I did until I was in it, and I started doing my first Comic-Cons, and then you're exposed to really how big the world is.
Yes.
And I was like, and it's so fascinating being a human being and our emotions and the swings, because I went from, oh my gosh, yes, I'm working, to plummeting to, oh my gosh, like what do I do? You know, we start filming in 6 weeks.
Right.
There's the whole prosthetic process. I've never done prosthetics. How much Star Trek can I watch in 6 weeks to just try to understand? And I put so much pressure on myself before we started filming to be like, I have to know the world. I have to know the genre. I have to know this. And even though I can intellectually understand it, I haven't watched enough. And so then I started from the original series, trying to watch everything, and I'm like,
oh wow, you went from like down to Shatner.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
I started and I tried, and then to be honest, there were some episodes where I'm like, okay, cool. I'm losing it. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
get me.
It's that kind of episodic. It wasn't designed to be binged.
Yeah.
It's like weekly, and episodes, they would just take swings because they could. If you're doing 22, 24 episodes a season, it's like they don't all have to be bangers. And there are experimental episodes. It's not a storyline that is told throughout.
Yeah. And so, anyway, so then I watched what I could, but then I hit a point of surrender.
Sure.
Which seems to be like a big thing in my life at like pinnacle moments. It's like at some point, that's a whole other topic of like my theories on control.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to hit surrender. And I was like, okay, I am going to do the best that I can.
Right.
And that's all I can do. And I can ask people for help. But that first season was crazy. I mean, there were days where, we went through different showrunners. We went through so many different showrunners.
I heard there was a lot of drama.
Season.
And there's drama on every show. That's not like I'm not talking shit. It's like,
no.
You have a film set is a bunch of people who are all convinced that their thing is the most important thing, and they're all right, and they're all working together for one whole. It's like there's always going to be friction in those situations.
Yeah, and just so many cooks in the kitchen on such a big franchise, and bringing it back after 13 years, there was so much pressure, and we went through different showrunners, and I remember there was like one day where we're on set. We had already shot one day of this episode, and it was 6 a.m. and they dropped a whole new script, a whole new 65 pages.
Dang, girl.
And I was like, okay, cool. And I'm watching, Sonequa Martin Green taught me what it was to be a number one that I want to be.
Cool.
She taught me, I've been around many number ones in my life, and to be honest, I've never really dealt with divas. I've been blessed. All the sets I've worked on, Murdoch, The Expanse, like they were all incredibly run sets.
Yeah.
But Sonequa took it to a new level. Like, she showed me grace under pressure. She showed me kindness when your professional life is like so many changes and uncertainty, and also when your personal life, like during season 4, which took us 10 months to shoot a season.
How many eps?
That one was 10, 12,
wow.
13? Between 10 and 13. I can't remember at this point. Sorry. Every year was different.
That's wild.
But we had to pause. Everything moved slower. Like before COVID, we were shooting probably, season 1, there were days I clocked out at 20 hours.
Whoa, good for the bank account. Very challenging.
Good for yes. And like, they didn't care about in prosthetics. So when I started
your skin must have been like we had long days on Defiance, but like even like an 8-hour day in that thing was like,
it's hard.
Brutal.
And I was on a liquid diet only.
Oh shit.
While I was filming. I remember wardrobe. Every 2 months I had to make me a new costume. And those bridge crew costumes are like, not just bridge crew, it's just the uniforms in general. But I kept losing weight.
Right.
Because my metabolism from my ballet years is so high, bless, and I will ride that for as long as I can. But it was like liquid diet only because the prosthetic was glued all the way into my lips.
Yes.
So I can't chew.
Yeah.
Were you on a liquid or were you? Yeah.
Well, basically all I could do was smoothies when I was in it. Yeah.
There was, like 2 months in, I did realize that at the end of the day, when I was done most of my coverage, I would go to craft, and I learned that I could take the trail mix and I could take the M&Ms, and if I just like gently pop them onto my back teeth, they would melt.
Nice.
And that was like my hour 13, 15 sugar rush, because you start going loopy at some point, and especially when you're not eating solid food. It's like you can have all the peanut butter, Whole Foods, protein smoothies that you want, but it's only going to do so much.
Yes.
But yeah, so that first season was crazy. When we started the prosthetic, the first few months it was 5 hours. It took 5 hours to get into it.
Yeah, that's a brutal.
Because it was like 6 different pieces.
Yeah, Defiance.
But then they got it down to 2.5.
Yeah, that was the exact same with Defiance. Like I remember camera test, and it was like 11 hours. Yeah. When they were building the prosthetic and figuring out how to do it, and then it began as, I think the first day on the pilot was 6, and then by the end of my time in the prosthetic, it was down to about 3.5. Yeah.
And it's fascinating and like incredible what that team of people does.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, those hours are bonkers.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that doesn't happen anymore.
I don't think it does. Oh, and that was my train of thought of like when COVID came in, because to keep everybody's immune systems up, they decided that it's only going to be 12+1.
Yeah. I feel like most sets like became really regimented about 12+1. Like on doc, we almost never go past 12 plus 1.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Also, though, like, we're like, hey, 13 hours. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the norm.
For
but
sure.
That is like, that's just what we do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that first season was crazy. There was so many times where I remember by the time I got home, my turnarounds were like less than 5 hours.
Whoa.
So like, yeah, great for the bank account. But like, you know, it's just, it was, that first season was a lot. And then yeah, in second season, they asked me, they were like, hey, we have this new character for you if you want it. It's an engineering. I didn't know the storyline at all of that character.
Yeah. And
I mean, spoiler alert, I didn't know she was going to replace my previous character on the bridge.
Okay.
Which is what happens.
Right.
But they were like, no prosthetic, do you want it? And I sat there, and honestly, I thought about it because I loved Arium, you know, and it was super cool, but I was like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I'd like to like have my face. Also, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I will. But when I booked Arium, they were like, you will be recognizable.
Yes.
And then, if anybody looks at the pictures of Arium and me, and granted, I do, like, I'm a chameleon in terms of the roles I do and what you can do to my body and my face.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wear makeup, I don't wear makeup, I look like two different people.
Sure.
You know, so, but I put the pictures side by side and I'm like, I don't really see me in this.
That's how I felt about Defiance as well.
Yeah.
So, but I deeply relate to that. I wanted my face to be seen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that my IMDb ranking has ever been higher than when the first season of Defiance aired, because everyone's like, who the fuck is that? Because it's like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And I think, but then, and it's so funny, like, because I don't know if you had this in your life, but in my life, it was the coolest role that I had ever done at the time.
Yeah.
And then, but like all of my loved ones and family members were like, but you don't even, like, you can't even tell it's you. And I was just like, well, first of all, it's called acting, so thank you. And second, it's like, I know. Like, when is it enough?
I know. And so I have this battle, not battle, but like I have this ongoing thing. And I was talking about it with one of my best friends yesterday, where I'm super into the inner work too.
Sure.
Right. And just understanding.
Are you talking about inner work of acting or inner work of like development of self? Yes.
Yeah, development of self. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the clarification. But I struggle with understanding sometimes what is my ego and what is standing up for myself, what is wanting just to have a desire for something, you know? And this was a moment where I'm like, is it just my ego that's like, I want to be recognizable because I want to be famous? And I'm going to say something right now. When I first started film and TV, all I wanted was fame and fortune.
Right.
That's like, and it masked itself, that egotistical nature did mask itself in being like, I want to win an Oscar for a role that's, you know, really going to stretch me. But to be honest with you, a lot of what was driving me at first was fame, fortune, magazine covers, the awards, validation, recognition, you know? And so I had to sit with myself at this point and be like, what's the driving factor? Because I try very hard to live an intentional life.
Sure.
And sometimes that means I make decisions very slowly because I will overthink them to be like, what's motivating this? Is it fear? Is it love? Is it ego? Is it self? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
And I've gone through so many ego deaths in the past 10 years. I think I go through one like every 4 months, like a real one, which I love. And I've just learned that the ego deaths are so dark, but they bring the brightest moments and the most growth you could ever ask for as a human being, which means you have so much growth you could ever ask for as an actor, because our job is human behavior. That's it. That's the job. And so, yeah, the ego has been a big thing. And so I understand what you're saying too. And there's a part of me that's like, you know, when the fans found out who was under Arium, there was like all these tweets and whatever being like, oh my God, the girl playing Arium's so hot, so beautiful, so this. And there was a part of me that was like, yes.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, know who I am. And I struggled a lot for so many years with like body and image and
Yes.
wrapping up my value in how thin I was, how beautiful people perceived me as, all these external factors that sure were fed by the industry, 110%, but they were also just fed by certain personal things I was navigating.
Yeah, like the film and television industry doesn't have a monopoly on image issue.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like the world is,
It's just a thing. And so I started soaking all this up. So then when that season 2 thing came around of like my face, my immediate reaction was like, yes, of course, 110%. And then I just sat with myself for a bit. And there were other contributing factors to that too. But yeah, but I hear what you're saying is the point there. And like, I too was so happy when I was like, it's my face.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like then I was blonde and then I went redhead and then I went brunette. And I'm like, so still I get recognized on, if there's a hardcore Trek fan or honestly a Murdoch Mysteries fan.
Yeah.
Those they will
people,
recognize me, but I'm not recognizable to the general public, which now as I'm getting older and I'm sitting more in the seat of self and less from the seat of the ego, I prefer that.
Right.
Because I prefer a quiet life.
Sure.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing.
So what was the ultimate deciding factor in swapping characters? Because I didn't realize you had a choice. Like that's a really if we actually step back and like that will likely only happen once in your life to be like, hey, you can have either. Like on this hugely successful show.
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of it came down to time in the makeup chair.
Yeah.
My skin.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
I feel like I remember you during that time and like that part of it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having some reactions. It was this, it was that.
Well, because it's like the glue on the very sensitive like parts of the eyes and the like it was so like for me it was rough.
It was. And like, it's like even though they used oil to take it off and not alcohol, they did everything they could. But that's why I look at people like Doug Jones who just do this and they do it and they can handle it. And then, I was also like, have all this glue on my skin and I'm like, that's seeping into like my cells. You know what I mean? Like, So a lot of it was that.
The dude who played Freddy Krueger, like the Nightmare on Elm Street guy, I can't remember the name of the actor, which is the horror people are going to be so mad at me. He just wouldn't let them take it off for a week. Like he would only take it off on the weekends and he just lived in it because he's like the taking on and putting off or putting on and taking off became so damaging to his skin that he just lived in it.
Yeah. Oof. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Could you imagine sleeping in it?
That's what he did, and it's just like how he was able to handle it. He's like, otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
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 I want to kind of pivot because it's so interesting. You're so interesting to me. One, the sci-fi show that I was on. It's cool that you had this realization of like being taught the kind of number one you want to be, because I felt the exact same thing about Grant Bowler on Defiance, and so much of it was so early in my career, and in so many ways, like on that show, I had days where I did stuff, and I had days where I was just an expensive coat rack.
Oh, ditto.
And that's so weird on shows. Like I found learning that lesson of just like I'm often just like a meat sack in a piece of funny sci-fi wardrobe, and. But I watched him and learned kindness and compassion and leadership and that and under pressure. And then the show I'm on now, Doc, Molly Parker exudes the exact same thing. She's just so like 22 episodes, nothing but medical jargon. She's in almost every scene and somehow is just nonstop grace under pressure. Yeah. And it's just like to have been exposed to that, I think is just such a blessing. And I don't know if I have a point here other than like I'm really glad that you had that experience as a human.
I mean, me too. I did in season 4 of Star Trek Discovery, I got offered a role in this film called Control. And it is hands down.
Saban
yes.
films? Yes, I did. Well, like they did Walking By, which became Whiteout. But yeah.
Yes. So
great guys.
Yes. And that was my dream role. Mm-hmm. My dream role was always Charlize Theron in Monster.
I remember coaching so many people for that role, by the way.
Oh.
And then I found out you got it, and I was like, that makes so much sense. I think while I was coaching people for that role, I was like, I'm just seeing what would Sara Mitich do in my mind. And then I was like directing people that way.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah, it was my dream role.
Yeah.
It really was. And because, again, human behavior, it was like something that I'd played around with those notes in class, right? In a couple auditions, but it was something, a part of human behavior I was so desperate to explore fully as an artist. And when it came to me, I was like, yes, 110%. And I took everything Sonequa taught me to that film set. And it was the first time I could execute on the things I was observing in her.
Yeah.
I mean, every single day on that set, I was like breaking myself down emotionally. And on that set, at the same time, my personal life was completely crumbling.
Love that.
And so it was the first time where I was like, well, at least I can use it. You know what I mean? And it actually helped because I was able to express what I was feeling as a human through my artistry, which doesn't actually happen often. And I don't think people understand that.
And I also feel as though there's a fallacy in acting where we believe that the things that we are closest to will be the easiest to draw from, when in actuality your body is very often like attempting to just protect you from that nonstop. And so like it speaks to your level of just being so good at acting that that you were able to.
Yeah.
So that's incredible.
Yeah. And so I was able to show up every single day. And that was also one of those 4 weeks not only taught me about, number one, like it just taught me about how to be a leader, how to be a leader, how to show up. It taught me something that I have held on to my entire life, which is presence over perfection. Because I still showed up every single day. Not perfectly, not without fear, not feeling ready and capable, but I showed up with heart and with presence, and I led that set. And that's the thing people don't understand about a number one is your energy, your mood will dictate everything. How the other actors show up, how the crew feels, if you get your days, all of it. That's the responsibility of not just being a lead, but being the number one on something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and it feels, for me at least, it feels amazing when you can go home at the end of your 12+1. You've done these crazy, amazing, dramatic scenes. You're proud of the work you're doing. And you're showing up in a way that when you leave, people feel good and people feel better. And it's not a people-pleasing thing. It's very different. It's a responsibility. And, you know, one of my biggest things in life is, am I showing up to life in a way I'm proud of? Across every single facet. That's it. That's the one question. I'm really big into legacy. What's the legacy I'm going to leave behind? And that's like the breeding grounds for overthinking.
Sure.
But to keep it simple, I'm like, am I showing up in a way I'm proud of? As an actor, as a sibling, as a friend, as a partner, as a wife, as a teammate. Like, that is it for me at the end of the day.
Right.
It's not about showing up perfectly. It's about showing up in a way that you're proud of. And for me, that is presence.
Right.
That's it for me. And like that's where the inner work for me crosses into acting. And it's all about presence. Everything's about presence for me. Can I be present here with you? Can I be present when there's a camera on me with my scene partner? Can I be present in real life when I'm walking around Starbucks or walking around the park? It's just presence. And there's so many different types of presence. There's like mental presence, that's awareness. For me, there's spiritual presence, which is probably like the crux of my being. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I'm a big meditator. Meditation is like it for me.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is meditation isn't just sitting cross-legged and closing your eyes. You could sit cross-legged and close your eyes for 20 years and never hit it. You know what I mean? You can walk through a park and never sit with your eyes closed cross-legged and hit it every single day.
Right.
So.
Do you mind saying more about that? Because I'm curious, and this is a great way to segue into the work that you're doing with gratitude and growth. Because listen, I got to tell you, so well, one, going into that concept of presence in everything, like, I think as you said that, I was like, that's exactly what it was when I first started working with you, where I was just like, I don't know how to be as present as this woman. Like, I just don't know how to do it. And for me, here's the thing too, it's like, from a coaching standpoint, there is an element of it that's very analytical, right? And it is detachment to a degree. But I think I deeply wanted to be very present in my life, and I wasn't for probably the better part of like a decade and a half as an adult. And just as a means to protect myself from all sorts of stuff. And there was something in you that I was just like, I don't know how to do this. And it was fascinating to me. And it was like inspiring, like in that I'm like, well, I know this is possible.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to get there. And so that's so cool that it's something that you're aware of, because back then it felt like something that was just so instinctive. At least as an outside observer.
No, thank you for saying that, because I wouldn't have known that anybody else could pick up on it.
Right.
And it wasn't always intentional. My journey with presence.
It felt a little blessing and cursey. Like I've known you for a long time, and I was like, still waters run deep with this woman.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's like I would see you, and I'm like, I don't like, yeah. Again, like sometimes I felt my ability to analytically break things down also blessing and curse. Like it like kept me from experiencing my life, and also provided me with a tremendous amount of value.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just hijacked the narrative here.
No. I mean, look, my journey with presence. I've always just been deep. I mean, I remember being like 8 years old, and I was sitting in the car with my mom in the driveway, and I turned to her and I was like, "Mommy, why is this my story? Why don't I know what you're thinking? Why can I only hear the voice in my head?" Mm-hmm. Like, that's me at 8.
Man, I've always been deep. We got to put that on a t-shirt for sure.
I've always been deep.
It's
like, it's just, I meet people. I met somebody at a bar. I was just like by myself, and I met this woman, and I mean, first we're both at the bar, and she took out a book, and I'm like, she is my people. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we started talking, and I don't talk about the weather. You know what I mean? It's just somehow I just have, I understand I have that magnetism now. I didn't understand that 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But I've always been so curious. It's my curiosity. And my curiosity is my superpower. Mm-hmm. I truly, and it's something as I get older and as the analytical mind likes to take over, and in my awareness, I'm like, go back. My biggest thing is curiosity over expectations.
Yep.
I think it'll change your life if you can live from that, especially as an actor.
Even now, when I listen, like when I work with you, it's not like you need a lot of work, but it is like your mind is trying to take over, and as soon as we get you into presence, it's like everything clicks. Like everything clicks.
I know. That's why I love working with you, is because I think we're so similar in some ways, and we coach so similarly in some ways. And here's the thing: it's even though I coach and I can break things down and I can bring people to presence and all that, it's a whole different ballgame when you're on the X. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, and I need somebody who speaks my language, who holistically speaks it, who can speak to my mind, my soma, my body, and my soul, right? And like bring me to presence, put me, and you have an incredible way of doing that. And just of allowing me to express my human experience if it's getting in the way of the work.
Yeah.
And not only use it, but allow it to pass through me so that I can get to the presence of the work. Mm-hmm. You're really great at that. That's why I love working with you. And you also reiterate presence over perfection.
Yeah. Perfect is boring. Perfect is sterilization. It's like the pursuit of that makes you like everybody else. Yeah. Which is the antithesis of success in casting.
Yeah. And in my journey with presence as an actor, it's funny, right? It's like you posted something on Instagram the other day. And again, just a reflection of my own journey. And you were like, when I was starting out, I'd carry a notebook and I'd go study people. Yeah. I used to carry a notebook and I would just study myself. Oh. I didn't actually, so I did. So I would go whenever I had to go pick up somebody early from the airport, I'd always go an hour early and watch people, because that was airports and ERs. Yeah. For me, I'm like, you want to study like human behavior and high stakes, or just a range of emotion? Those are the two places.
She's like the only person in a hospital with like popcorn in the notepad. Oh, man.
And I'm like,
how's your arm? Broken?
Going.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you feel? Talk to me about it. But I used to carry around this notebook to learn my instrument. Yeah. You know, I would feel accomplishment, and I'd be like, where does this live in me? Oh, it's in between my shoulder blades, and it's this. You know, I always laugh. It's like actors are the only ones in like the depth of our grief that are like, how does this feel?
This is I had so many theater school teachers who were like deeply dysfunctional human beings that were like, you got to just become observational. And like, you know, when my mom died, I was like, oh, I'm going to use this. And it's such a fucking damaging way to think about it. But the way you just described it, asking the question, where does this live in me? That's an extremely healthy way to get to know yourself through experience. Like, I've never heard it described that way. And that's, man, that would have saved me a lot. And I think a lot of people doing traditional acting training, a lot of heartache.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, for me, because here's the thing. I love doing the deep and the drama and all of it, but I've lived through a lot of dark shit in my life that I never use that as ammo. Because as a human being, I want to heal it. I want to heal it so I can be a good human being. I'm not going to hold it in my back pocket so that I can use it for a 5-minute self-tape sometime. I don't think that is it. And so for me, at least my approach to it is, especially the deep stuff, is just, you know, pull Stanislavski as if out a little bit, add some personalization and authenticity. But also that authenticity is, let me call on where it is in my body. I mean, I don't think all actors understand like the power of your breath and humans in general. I mean, the power of your breath, breath work, for me, I have 4 pillars of transformation as a human being, and one of them is breath work or pranayama. And it's like, if I needed to sit down right now and break down and do something, give me 90 seconds and I'll get there just by manipulating my breath and understanding where that emotion lives in me. I don't need to call on something that's happened in my life. And like a specific example of that is, I was working with somebody. My dad died from cancer when I was 23, very quickly. And I was his primary caretaker. I was his power of attorney. It was just like a lot of responsibility for a 23-year-old. And I remember about a year after, I was working with somebody on a self-tape and I had to break down and my body was just like fighting it. It was just fighting it. And this was a friend and they were close to me and I understand what they were trying to do, but they were like, okay, what's the last thing you ever said to your dad before he died? And I was like, nope.
That's that, like, the body wants to protect itself from that. Like,
but for me, it was intentional. I'm like, I'm never going to use that as ammo to make myself cry. Like, for me, that is unhealthy. And I think, and I know I differ from some actors. I know that it's almost like a cathartic use of it. But for me, I worked so hard to heal that moment and cherish it, that to just pull it out, to break myself down, especially when it has nothing to do with the imaginary circumstances that I'm trying to commit to, I would just be doing it to start the tears. But the thing is, acting, not 101, maybe 102, it's like, if you're not using ammo that is in relation to what you're saying, you're gonna lose it and dry up faster than you think you ever will, or you'll break so much you can't do the scene.
You're square pegging into round holes. Also, the imagery that you keep bringing up is ammo, right? Which is a destructive thing. Like, by its very definition, nobody's like, time for the hug festival, let's bring the bullets. And 2, once ammunition is fired, you don't get it back.
Wow,
like, it's gone. It is a piece of you that's gone. And that's like, and the way that you're describing, I have healed these things in me. To me, that's like, well, now this is something I contain. Like, this is a part of me and I am an instrument. There's a big difference between a pile of disconnected traumas that you can fire at people and new keys on my piano, whether they were keys of my choosing or not. They are keys.
That's a beautiful way of explaining it. And it's like, you know, I remember having to do a self-tape once, and years ago, but a couple years after my dad died, and the premise was I was at the deathbed of, maybe it was my father. In the script, it was like, I'm at the deathbed of my father.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, how? But curiosity, my curiosity, I'm like, okay, I love analyzing scripts, right? Like, I love character. I love all of it. And so I was like, okay, how do I do this in a safe way? How do I do it in a way that's fair? Because sure, there's a part of me that's like, just do it. Just do it. And like, put Tata's face on there and just like, let yourself have it. And I was like, I could. But I was like, how would I do this if this was somebody coming to me to coach? How would I guide them to do it in a safe way? And so I sat down and thought about it. I'm like, cool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant my mother's face there, and I'm going to sub in my mom. We're going to do the as if, and I'm literally going to pretend like these are the last words I'm ever saying to my mother. And that breaks me enough. But the best part is afterwards I can call her and be like, hey mom, let's go have coffee.
Right.
And she's here.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's how I started to learn how to do the more emotionally intense things in a safe way.
Yeah.
And for a while there, I had clients coming to me to coach just that material in a developmental sense.
Like meaning...
like how do you break yourself safely?
Yeah, because
You know
you
what
were
I mean?
so friggin' good at it. Like you could watch you on TV and be like, that girl can do the emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
that sounds... I mean, like a very healthy journey, and the use of the as if being something that frees you up, as opposed to something that limits you.
Yeah.
I feel, and I'm curious because you talked about their character. You're fascinated by character, and I do feel like character is becoming a bit of a lost art in the most modern generation of performers, because everything is about you, like the authenticity of self, which is a huge part of acting, but like I find in coaching it's now the most deficient thing. I feel like this generation of actors are much better at showing up because they're not like stuffed into lockers for doing it in high school anymore. But when I try to be like, well, who's your character, like there's like all they do is talk about context of story, and there's no like they're this person. And so I'm curious, like, what about character lights you up? Because I think that, like, for a lot of the younger generation that's watching this podcast, hopefully, I think it's a really useful conversation.
Sometimes I go old school theater school of just, what's the character's objective? What's the obstacle? Who, what, where, when, why, all of it. But
yeah, shout out to Salvo.
Yeah, the W5, baby.
It's not
Units,
like he invented that.
All of it, yes. But, I mean, he was at least for me instrumental in implementing it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's also being like, okay, what's this person going through?
Yeah.
Like, what are they actually going through? And I hear exactly what you're saying of the art of character is lost. Because even when I work with people, recently I was working with somebody too, and it's just like, this actor is like one of the best actors I know too. And all it took was me saying, hey, just remember who you are and what the stakes are and where you are, And for me, why I love acting is because I love playing make-believe.
Yes.
That's it. I have a wild imagination. Again, my curiosity. I was like the weirdest kid. And like, you couldn't pay me to go back to high school. But it's like, my imagination, I was always like the weird one. That's like, today I'm like this person. And today this is going on. And it's just, for me, characters being able to fully understand the circumstances they're living under, what they want. But then just like, be that person. And sometimes I get certain auditions and I'm like, I actually don't need to analyze. All I need to do is just do it. Just do it. And like trust, because I either know the world or it's living so comfortably in my body. Like I'm at a point where, sure, some tapes come in and I'm breaking it down.
Sure.
Right? And I'm like, okay, either like I need to plant some things, I need to figure some stuff out. And sometimes we hop on and my overthinking has taken over and I'm like, I'm struggling with these choices. Are we supposed to go this way? Or are we supposed to go that way? Because my curiosity when it comes to the work. If my perfectionism takes over the curiosity, I'm like, what's the right way to do it? Because I see 10 different versions of the script and I know I can commit to all, but I start doubting which one is the most effective for an audition.
Yeah, you're so easy to coach because it's like your mind wants to turn it into a binary, this or that. And then as soon as I'm like, whichever is true in the moment, you're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you understand the realities and it's like it's about flowing where your impulse and instinct takes you.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're given permission to do that, it usually all just starts to take care of itself.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. You have that way of just being like, you'll say one thing and it'll be like, oh, cool, here we go.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that I love being directed. I love being directed because I think my weakness as an actor is that since it's exactly what I said, I can see so many different versions of where it's supposed to go that I don't always know which is the most effective for story and for frame and just where I'm at. And so I always trust my director, and that has bit me in the ass once or twice, because their vision was not necessarily as well fleshed out as mine even.
Directors aren't actors.
Yeah.
It's a very different skill set.
100%. And you really, when you get the directors that know acting, oh my gosh, what a gift, right?
Yes.
But then when you get the directors who are like, I trust you, I'm more concerned with composition and frame and lighting and everything else, it's like, I start getting nervous. But that's where I love working with you too, because you're like, you give me the confidence to just make the choice.
This is the thing, I think, like direction at its best is two things. It's context and permission. It's like clear container, bash around in it now.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Oh, I love that. Context and permission.
Like that's it.
Ooh,
right?
okay,
like,
that one's gonna stick with me.
Like
Yeah.
Creativity, like the most creative people on the planet. Like think about, like even Jackson Pollock needed a canvas. Like without a canvas, he's just a guy being fucking weird with paints.
Yeah. And for a while, what got me in my head about, you know, the last couple of years have been very interesting for me in terms on the acting perspective. And there were many times where I had so many ego deaths because it was like, it's slow. I went from like 5 years of busy
Yeah, like,
to
because you became a full reg on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, that's literally the dream.
Yeah.
Major network series.
Yeah. And then it was like quiet. You know, I did some things after and then quiet for a bit. And it fucks your head when you're an actor, because even like a year ago, I'm like, I haven't worked in a while. Like, can I still call myself an actor? Can I get, even though I've done all this stuff, our mind focuses on the negative, on the survival. It's just trained to do that. And that's why, more than anything, I just want everyone in the world to know, like, question your mind. Question the stories you're telling yourself, because we're hardwired for survival. That's okay. We're never gonna win. It's not about winning. It's about awareness.
Yes.
Right? And it's about awareness to be like, oh, I have this same thought over and over again. Is it even true? You know? And that can open up like a whole other thing. But with acting, for me, it was like, am I even an actor anymore? Like, if I'm not doing the thing, but I'm like, but I am doing the thing. And you know, the past couple of years have been the slowest in my life, in my career. Yet last year I was pinned for the #1 of a new show for 3 months. It's the closest I've ever gotten to the next level. Oof. And so it's like, it's a mind fuck, because you're like, who am I supposed to be? And this is where the ego deaths come in.
I feel like that's around when you reached out to me, like after that happened.
Yes. Actually, no, the first thing we coached was the one I got pinned for.
Oh, shit.
The first thing we coached when I came back to you was the one we got pinned for. But another thing I've never told you, especially since we like got back together in terms of a coaching perspective over the past couple of years, is you have witnessed some of like my greatest ego deaths whenever we've been coaching, whether you're aware of it or not. You've always been so insightful and helpful, because like I remember the one, it's while I was being pinned for this, and I was like losing it by the end of it, because the uncertainty, right? And this is where I fully understood the human being's relationship with control and all the different ways it manifests, not just in our artistry, but in our life. And I was watching myself spiral, but I was sitting from like my meditative seat of self being like, this is the spiral. And this is me just wanting to control it all. You know, and when you're into the inner work and you've studied, I've literally studied most of the spiritual texts from east to west. I've done mindset, I've done somatic, I've done manifestation, I've done spiritual teachings, I've done the exercises. I became a yoga teacher. I'm currently getting certified in like yoga philosophy. I want to go take extended education from Harvard in neuroscience. Like, I just want to learn.
Yeah.
But in that is a need for control and understanding.
Yeah.
And in that gets so confusing, because I remember I got pinned and I was like, what am I supposed to do? The manifestation books say, pretend like it's yours, live like it's yours. But like the Buddhists say that if you want it, you're just pushing it away from yourself. And like You know, the Chinese say just keep the pendulum still. And I'm like, fear, desire, fear, desire. I'm like, the pendulum is not still and I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to tell people about it? Am I supposed to not want it? Am I supposed to not tell people so that I don't jinx it? But then manifestation says you can't jinx anything. But then people say, if it's meant for you, it's supposed to happen. And I was like, the work? I was like, this is insane. Like, and I just remember sitting there.
Oh, my heart.
And all of it was just the need for control.
Yeah.
And to not feel so friggin' powerless in something that I so desperately want.
Yes.
You know, and then 3 weeks into the pin, you can probably appreciate this. So I'm pinned. They check my avails. It's it. No more anything.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, okay. And I had to ask my agents, be like, so like, what does a pin mean these days? Because I feel like it's changed.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's between you and a few other people.
Yeah.
Like, we're pinned. They've checked your dates, all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then 3 weeks in, I emailed them and be like, hey, don't want to be that actor, but like, have we like heard anything? And they're like, let me check. And they're like, okay, you're still pinned, but they started seeing other people for the role again.
Yeah, yeah.
And then came, and I felt it. And that is also the double-edged sword of awareness and presence. I felt it, I'm like, oh, here's the resentment for the industry. Here's the self-doubt. Here's the not good enough. And I just kept having to like move that energy through me and come back to presence and just be like, and that taught me surrender. And that taught me like, I'm wrapping up my value again in the externals. I'm wrapping up my value in if I book this. I'm wrapping up my value in what if I don't book it? What does that say about me?
Right.
Not in the fact that, hey, it's between you and a couple other people.
Right. Like on the planet. Yeah. 7 billion people on the planet. Yeah.
And then the way I figured out that I didn't book it was a Deadline article.
Oh, mother.
On Instagram. And I was like, and I emailed my team. They're like, yeah, like union rules, they don't have to tell you when they release you anymore on a pin.
Yeah. It's funny, when I was hiring an assistant, I was talking with Bree and she was like, so did you email the people that you didn't hire? And I was like, no. And she was like, you probably shouldn't. I'm like, is that a thing that people do? I'm like, just because like, I'm like, not to be a dick, but I'm just like, I do 4 job interviews a fucking week sometimes and I never hear shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
And
it seems like the rest of the world's more fucking civilized.
Right? And it's just like that whole thing, I learned about control and I learned about true surrender.
Yeah.
And like controlling what I can control and like to pivot to like entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So because I want to get into the gratitude-y stuff, and I gotta say, like, listen, it's so funny because when you started the gratitude and growth thing, I was like, I saw it going on Instagram and everything, and I was just like, another fucking actor buzzwording gratitude like crazy. I'm like, because it feels like we all fucking do it, and then it's like, and then I watched you just like really like create this like thing that exists, and it's so incredible. And also sorry for like being such an unconscious dick.
No, but just so human. Human, because it is such a buzzword.
It's so buzzy.
And you know, look, gratitude changed my life, and I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
Like it actually changed my life. I've literally been practicing gratitude now for like 12 years. And I call it a practice because that's what it is. A lot of people think it's like the byproduct, right? It's an emotion. It's not an emotion, it's a practice.
Right.
And I try to avoid saying things like, it can change your life, but it can. But I can at least say it has changed mine. And it took me from autopilot. It took me from going through the motions in life. It brought me to presence. It taught me that peace is real. Joy is real. And above everything, what it continues to teach me is we have to stop waiting for life to be perfect to choose to love it. Because what gratitude isn't is toxic positivity, which I can talk about because I actually, for about 3 years there, I used it as toxic positivity.
Yeah.
I used it as a Band-Aid. It kept me in relationships longer than I should have been in it. It made excuses for people treating me poorly because I was like, it's okay, I'll be positive. It's okay, I'll be grateful. It kept grief and anger living in me for years longer than it should have because I was like, I will just be grateful. And I think that's the trap, right? Real gratitude does not bypass pain. It meets you in it. And that has been the thing for me. That's why it's called gratitude and growth. because there is no point of arrival. There is no, I've made it as who I want to be. Every single time I get to that point, life just has this beautiful way of just humbling me. And humility is huge for me. So I have 4 commandments that I call them. Be grateful, be humble, be kind, and live. That's it. Be grateful, be humble, be kind, and live. And it's like, gratitude is it for me. It is the alpha and the omega. It is everything. It drops me into presence. It keeps me humble. It keeps me kind. In the dark days with gratitude, it's not about ignoring the pain. It's not about ignoring the grief. One of the most profound experiences, I think, in a human being's life is when you can actually find gratitude for the growth and for the pain, where I can sit there in grief with tears pouring down my face and be like, thank you. Thank you for this human experience. Because grief isn't bad, frustration isn't bad, anger isn't bad, jealousy isn't bad, unconscious remarks about people and their stuff isn't bad. It's just a part of the human experience. We're all obsessed with labeling things. Good, bad, right, wrong, too much, not enough. And the moment we label things, what does our beautiful mind do? Anything we've labeled as bad, it resists, it avoids, it suppresses. Mm-hmm. And gratitude's just about, for me, realizing that rejection isn't bad. Feeling rejection isn't bad. It's uncomfortable. We're avoiding the discomfort because we've labeled this experience as something that's bad. Mm-hmm. And so, in the most basic way, starting off with writing 10 things you're grateful for every single morning can completely change everything about you. I mean, look, there's a reason every spiritual tradition, every ancient text, and now every neuroscience lab is saying the same thing.
Yes.
Gratitude works.
Yeah.
It literally rewires your confirmation bias. Mm-hmm. I think I saw this one thing, and I haven't fact-checked it, so I'm all about trust but verify. I haven't done it yet, but like the buzz on right now on IG for me is like it creates new neural pathways in your brain.
Right.
Right? It regulates your nervous system.
Right.
Focusing on something you're grateful for in times of anxiety or trial will actually help regulate your nervous system. Mm-hmm. And it pulls you out of survival and it drops you into presence. And going back to presence, the fastest thing that will drop me into presence is gratitude. In the moment, genuine gratitude could be the simplest thing because it takes you off autopilot. Mm-hmm. And it puts you in the now. In the now, especially as an actor, in the moment, the now is all that exists. But also as a human being, this moment, you and me right now, this is it. There is no past or future. That's actually just our imagination. It's this. Mm-hmm. And if we can appreciate this, to me, we're living. When I'm not worrying about the future or spiraling about the past and I'm just here, that's when I feel alive.
That's when you are alive. Like I think that it's like there's a correlation between feeling and objective reality there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, gratitude's everything for me. It really is. And it is such a buzzword, but it has taught me how to be who I want to be.
Right.
And for that, I will forever be grateful for it. And for me, it also just makes life more fun. Mm-hmm. Like, life is going to be hard. Can't control it. Nothing we can do. I've tried. There is no mindset hack or manifestation code. None of it.
Yeah.
That can give us the control over life we want to have.
Yeah, you can't like Huberman pill your way into controlling life.
And I tried because for a few years there, I was essentially living like a monk. I was. I mean, this is a whole other thing, but I was meditating 3 hours a day, doing the breath work, doing the yoga, gave up coffee, didn't eat meat, wasn't drinking alcohol, went to Bali for a month. I lived in silence for 11 days.
Wow.
Did it all. Became a monk, and yes, I found peace.
Sure.
But then I came back to the real world.
Yeah, there's a reason why they tend to stay in like the mountains of Tibet. As soon as Instagram algorithms start becoming a thing, it's a little more difficult to do.
Yeah, it's real easy to feel peaceful when life is quiet. Yeah, and you're like in your main company is your dog in the woods.
Yeah.
It's a lot different when you have siblings and friends calling you out. and romantic partners and jobs that have expectations of you, right? So it's like, there is no code, there's nothing. And for me, it's just gratitude that I always come back to, because I also just know I show up in a way I'm proud of when I'm operating from a grateful place.
Makes a lot of sense. It's a step beyond acceptance, right? Like, but it requires acceptance of reality. Could be like it requires engagement of self. Like, it's like you have to have an opinion of gratitude. Like, you have to, like, the gratitude is something you have to choose.
Yeah.
It's not something that will just happen.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels like the way that you're describing it, I keep having, it's funny because I'm not like particularly Christian, but the sentence that keeps coming back into my mind is, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. The concept of forgiveness is an arrival point past acceptance.
Yeah.
You have to accept the thing that is happening or has happened, and then to arrive at forgiveness. And I feel like gratitude has that same power. Like, it's an empowerment on the other end of acceptance.
Yes.
Which is, it makes sense as a cornerstone of something that will change your life. That makes sense that it would be a pillar, with which to build a life on.
Yeah, and it can take you to the other side of it all, because it lets you also just see life for what it is. Look, essentially, we're gonna go even deeper here, but like, it puts you in the seat of self. It puts you in that, and there's like a million names for that, right? Like consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Christ consciousness, self, witness. Like, again, words don't matter. We're all talking about the same thing. I have this theory that's like a little controversial, but religion, spirituality, and science, we're talking about the same thing here. And gratitude for me puts me in the seat of self, and then I can be objective. And it's fascinating because I can sit in the seat of self and watch myself scream into a pillow out of anger. I can watch anger come and go. I can watch grief come and go. I can watch excitement just come and go and just be like, oh, cool, human experience. Cool, cool, cool. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Okay, it's gone.
Right.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you. And I think if you can find gratitude for the toughest experiences in life, that's also how you grow from it.
Yeah, and there's like the concept of detachment, like what you're just describing there. It's funny. I was at therapy yesterday and we talked a lot about detachment, like healthy detachment, because like I would have said in my 20s and early 30s I had plenty of detachment, but it was like borderline sociopathic, and not to be striven towards. But what you're just describing there is like, oh, like it's going through me. It isn't actually a part of me, not really.
No.
Any more than this chair is, and yet it is something that I'm interacting with, but I'm not leaving here being like, chair, chair, it's...
It's, if we go back to like basic English, and I'm ESL, right? Like English is my second language, but like subject-object relationship.
Yeah.
We have a subject-object relationship with our thoughts and emotions, but I mean, I say this, it took me years of research and monk years and living in silence and all of that to fully live and understand that. And like, I still don't get it 40% of the time,
Sure.
But it's like, yeah, if you can just sit, and then, I mean, what that has done to my acting work is also pretty unreal, because I have a deeper understanding. But it's also like, sometimes I'm so present and aware that I'm like, I'm doing the scene. It's like an outer body experience.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm not even present.
Right.
And here I am, and it's like, so then, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's definitely a double-edged sword.
That's where, from an acting standpoint, you get into the world of like, audience doesn't know what you're thinking. They only know that you are thinking. And it's just like, you just bank on that.
Yeah.
Just like, it's probably,
exactly.
I'm thinking about a sandwich, but whatever. Yeah. Like, I feel like, and maybe like, listen, I don't want to invite myself onto your podcast, but I would love to really like have the subject of a conversation not have to, listen, this is at its core an acting podcast, so it makes sense that the lion's share of time was spent on that. But everything that you're talking about, I find so fascinating, to the degree that I'm like, oh, I need to work with you, which is very cool. And I feel the transformative nature of what you're talking about. Again, it's a beautiful gift having a history with a person, because it's like it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, of course, like you've always been this, but it's like, oh no, actually you haven't. And it's like, as somebody who has known you and not really been privy to all of those moments of growth, in fact, very few of them, it's just so incredible to see you as you are. Thanks. With the context of who you've been, like it's just so incredible. And I've said it, I think 6 times in this podcast already, but I just have such a deep admiration for you, and I'm so glad that you're on the planet. And I'm so glad that you're now teaching people, like, what you have just communicated to me, in its very small, like, I'm sure, like, very truncated, intro to gratitude 101. It's like, I feel changed by that. It's very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's what I call the inner work.
Yeah.
It just is, and it is work. That's like some of the people that I work with one-on-one and things like that. It's like, the one thing I can't do is do it for you.
Yeah.
Can't, I can give you all the tools, and there's a big moment that happens between learning something and living something.
Yeah.
The integration, right? Integration. It's the same thing as craft, as our craft. It's like integration is a whole different thing from intellectual understanding.
Yeah.
And everybody's on their own journey, and everybody has their own pace, and there is no finish line, and there is no rush. You know what I mean? It truly is in everybody's time. But I think what a lot of people don't understand about gratitude, or don't understand about transformation, because I do believe anyone can do anything that they want.
Yeah.
And people hear my story and they hear of what I've been through, and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I want to do that. And you totally can. It's just work, though. It's not easy. It's a choice. And you have to understand that our minds are wired for the opposite. Mm-hmm. So you're not just battling external factors, you're battling the most dominant internal factor that questions everything you were taught as a human being up to whatever point when you start questioning it.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Everybody wants the result, and of course they do, right? But it's like what is it they say, on the way there, people will ask you and challenge you why you're working so hard, and then when you get there, people will tell you how lucky you are. It's fascinating. I am incredibly grateful for this conversation, and I'm so grateful that you took the time, like that we were able to make this work. And I hope this is one conversation of many. Yeah, me too. Because I think you're a really special person, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was a gift. I'm so glad we could do it in person.
Me too.
Again, I'm just so glad, and it's just so nice to like be in your energy.
Oh, likewise.
And share energy and just talk about all the things I love. So thank you. Thank you.
Look at yay! This is nice.
Yay!
Cool. All right.
Cool.
I think we got it, guys. Yeah. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my god. All right. So if you're here, you're here. You're here at the end, and I really appreciate it. I hope you found that conversation as inspiring and rewarding and fulfilling as I did. Again, I can't stress enough how much I respect Sara. She's just the heckin' best, and it means a lot that you're here at the end of the podcast, that you made it all the way through. So, like I said before, if you aren't subscribed to us but you found us this week, please subscribe. It's funny, the world, the internet, it's a lurker economy now. A lot of people, we get a lot of views, and subscribership doesn't correlate across the internet. So it's like, I understand if you're here and you just wanted to watch this, I appreciate it. But if you happen to want to click like and subscribe, would really, really appreciate that. If you're here listening on Spotify or YouTube and you want to give us a little 5-star and give us a little follow, I'd appreciate it. If you really want to support the podcast, you can head on over to our Patreon. Over there, there's different tiers. All of the proceeds go to developing the podcast and the YouTube channel, and also memberships there give you access to all of my online acting courses. So if you're an actor and you're wanting to get comprehensive online courses to get you training, to get you into to a place where you're crafting bookable auditions, that's the cheapest and fastest way to get into that. You can also check out my website, dnybackact.com. Follow us across socials, dnybackact. We put out a bunch of really cool short content. We're redoing the way that we create our short content, where it used to be a lot of repurposed long form. Now I'm recording custom videos all month, every month, that are specifically geared towards solving individual problems for actors. So each video on our socials is doing that, or it's like a specific podcast clip. It's really cool. Wherever you learn, however you learn, follow us there. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go be people.